Hey guys, how's it going? This is Natnator. Welcome back to your weekly dose of creepypasta. So, as promised last week, we're going to spill the beans on what's going on, but I just wanted to thank you all so much for the comments of congratulations and such. That was really sweet. But it is confirmed. I spent all of yesterday driving to Sydney, I've unpacked, and I start my new job tomorrow as of recording this. Big reveal, I'm working at a company called ILM. Or Industrial Light and Magic. Y'all might have heard of them, but in my opinion, they are the biggest VFX company on the planet. It's owned by Disney, and they're the big studio behind all of the Marvel stuff, and of course, they're behind all of the old and new Star Wars IPs, which is very exciting. But yeah, that's that. We'll see how this goes. Let's talk creepypasta, because that's why you're here. I love the topic of today's story. I don't know why people don't write about things like this more, that being grand conspiracies, tickling that little part of your brain that knows something can't be true, but what if? Before we roll on in, I'd like to thank the patrons over on Patreon. You guys are fantastic. Shoutouts as always to the Disciples, Tiffany, Subscribe SoundCloud, Teddy Dog, Kissing and Gunshots, Backwoods D-Dog, Vera Ohio, Sylvia Kirschbaum, and Jelly. Thank you for supporting me for another month. I really appreciate it. Now, as always, turn out the lights, get comfortable, and let the story begin. "11th of the 8th, 2012. Let me start by saying thanks for reading. You guys have been amazing to me. I started this blog when I wasn't even sure what blogs were, or what I wanted to do with mine. I never dreamed that in just 5 short years, I'd have such a large and loyal group of readers. Even the trolls, I thank you as well, because every time I get a comment, my hit count goes up, and that adds to the revenue I collect from my sponsors. Each and every one of you who have read, liked, disliked, commented, or flamed has helped me go from just another college kid to a person who can make a living doing what he loves, writing. Anyway, I'm saying all this because I wanted to announce that I'll be moving to a new URL starting in 2 weeks. I've decided that today will be my last post on this blog because there's going to be a ton of work involved in my next venture. I'll be joining the ever-expanding ranks of the professional bloggers on newviews.org. I cannot say enough how thrilled I am to be working with these amazing people. Blogging never felt like a real job before, even with the ad revenue I was generating, but now I feel like I've found my calling. I'll be writing the same stuff I've always written, but now it's actually my job. My old content will still be at this URL, but new content will be available at caffeinehead.newviews.org starting in 2 weeks. I'll still be blogging about as often, but it'll be there, not here. I wanted to move my entire back catalogue with me, but apparently there's some potential legal snarls there, and it might work out as too expensive. So, loyal readers, please bookmark the above link and be sure to share it with people you know who read my page on a perhaps more sporadic level than you and might miss this message. And that's all I have to talk about today, but once again, I want to say a sincere thanks to all of you who have made this blog what it is. I can write all day until my fingers are numb, but a blog is nothing without readers. So really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. All of you. Caffeine Head. Coffeeandopinions.com. 11/22/2012. Well, here it is. Officially, CH's page on newviews.org has gone live. Some of you might think that because I've moved, I'm gonna start holding back a bit with my viewpoints as to what's happening. But really, guys, The fantastic folk at newviews.org would not have wanted me if they didn't want my opinions. So, if you thought I was going to start pulling my punches or changing my opinions, think again. Sorry, trolls. Then again, no, I'm not sorry, and really you aren't either. You've come here to be entertained by me. Anyway, I know you do, no need to lie about it. Last week, as I'm sure many of you have heard, the lie-spreading time-waster known as Wikipedia got hit with a massive hack and was offline for over 48 hours. I want to stress that I was not involved, though I have nothing but love for the hackers that accomplished it. Hopefully soon the web's most infamous deceit factory will be completely unable to spew its filth. I'm not in contact with the hackers, but I hope their next target is Snopes.com. As I'm sure my readers know, I cannot believe how easy it is to mislead so many people at once. Make a website, get some views, suddenly you're an authority. Wikipedia allows its readers to generate content. How do they know the content being generated isn't a lie? Sure, they have to provide citations, but a citation can just be a link to another lying website. Like Snopes. How do I know Snopes is a group of lying scumbags? Simple. Just go check their page on Impetus Sand. They say Impetus Sand is a myth, a fraud, conducted by conspiracy theorists. Folks, you know that's ridiculous. I have seen Impetus Sand in action with my own eyes, and I'm certain you all have as well. In fact, just the other day, I was speaking with a man while riding the bus, and it hit me halfway through the conversation that I was speaking with a man who did not exist. He might have existed once, but no longer. He was a construct, a being formed from Impetus Sand. What tipped me off was that at one point he stopped, mid-sentence, blinked his eyes, and started his entire sentence over again, same inflection and everything. He had to reset himself. I see it all the time, but you don't have to believe me. Just check out this link and have a look at what Dr. Magnus Ellison has to say about it. He looked at Impetus Sand under a microscope. Wonder how long it'll be before the government disappears him. Anyway, my point is that sites like Wikipedia, Snopes, Drudge.com and others exist mainly to keep us coddled, keep the wool over our eyes, never questioning the official story. Even Google gives you the hits they want you most to see first. They have created a generation of people who'll only believe something if one of these reputable websites tell them it's true. What is true anymore? It's certainly not a verifiable fact, because there's nothing verifiable in anything either site gives us, while stuff like Impetus Sand is proven and verifiable. But you won't catch these sites talking to you about it. Caffeine Head. caffeinehead.newviews.org. 1st of the 2nd, 2013. Happy New Year. Hope you didn't get too drunk the night before last. Your friendly neighborhood blogger might have had just a wee too much of my uncle's patented North Dakota sour mash. And well, yesterday I didn't have the will to write. This was not a great Christmas season for me, and I don't have any fear of telling you why. Most of you know I've gotten death threats before, and to be honest, I'm proud of them, because being threatened just tells me they consider me a threat. But over the Christmas season, the threats started being launched at my new employers at newviews.org, including a virus that got sent to my boss's computers. The link I provided last week at optimumscience.net is down now, and in fact, when I Google Magnus Ellison, I get 0 hits. They've done it. They've unpersoned him. I have little doubt that in a few months, he or someone suspiciously similar will return to his job as though nothing happened, and will deny that such a thing as impetus sand exists. But it won't be him, not really. His wife will call him the same man, the kids will call him daddy, but he'll just be a construct. They want to shut down blogs like mine for telling the truth. If this blog and others like it weren't out there spreading the truth, they could just keep saying anything they wanted to say about what's really going on behind closed doors within the most secret offices of the government, and the public would gladly lap it up. Of course, pains are being taken to ensure that they can't find where I am. There are umpteen different proxies and redirects surrounding my IP address, which changes every day. That's one of the reasons I wanted to work with newviews.org, but it appears that they've managed to infiltrate their offices somehow. I'm going to be speaking with the CEO at newviews.org to ensure that this sort of thing can be prevented in the future. I'm also going to refrain from posting links in my blogs from now on. If I have something to share, I'm now only going to do it through private messages. This way, I'll also be able to ensure that people who are clicking on my links are actually interested and reading what's there. I've decided I'm not going to put up a new post until I can be assured by newview.org's security team that the anonymity I've fought so hard to maintain will not be compromised. I'm sorry for the upcoming lengthy silence from me, but I'll be back. I promise. Caffeine Head. caffeinehead.newviews.org 3/15/2013. I had an interesting conversation with my brother-in-law today. He likes a good conspiracy theory himself, or at least, he used to. Today he seemed different, more withdrawn. I brought up my old post on the Orpheus device, which, as some of you may remember, casts a field over you so that literally you are a walking radio to them. You don't have to use a cell phone or speak in a place where there's technology around. All you have to do is just speak. Of course, I have screens up around my house which filter sound and add white noise to anything they hear, so we're safe to talk, but he still acted like he didn't want to talk about it. He even seemed confused when I mentioned that I moved my blog from my old site to this one. Almost seemed like he didn't know what a blog was, though I know he's read it before. In fact, he's far from the person that started reacting strangely when I talk about my latest online discoveries. Yesterday, my neighbor gave me the strangest look when I mentioned Wikipedia, as if she'd never heard of it. You really gotta wonder what's happening. Why would they be hiding websites that they themselves own and maintain, and use to spread their lies? Side note, for those of you who might be wondering, yes, I have spoken with the security team at newviews.org, and they assure me that their network has been all tightened up. There have been no incidents with other contributors to their site or to the site itself, so I'm back in business. Caffeine Head. caffeinehead.newviews.org 3/26/2013. It is becoming increasingly clear to me that my friends and family have been gotten to. I don't think all of them have been replaced with constructs, though I know a few have. This is a mild concern, because it makes me feel like they're closing in on my location. My wife started acting abnormally when she switched to a new moisturizer. I don't know how many times I warned her to never do that. In fact, to pretty much only use what hygiene products you have to. And even then, to make sure you buy them from places like the dollar store or other places that it's unfashionable to shop in. Nano seeds are in everything these days. The more you use it, the more you likely have in you, altering the way you think, getting you to suppress the desire to think too much about what you hear, what you read. I'm sure I have some nano seeds in me. It's unavoidable. I tried for a few months boiling and refrigerating jugs of tap water, and only drinking that. But I kept running out of the boiled stuff and needing to drink something, so I'd break down and have a glass of water straight from the tap. I do my best to counteract whatever nano seeds I might have by relentlessly fighting against any urge I might have to just forget about this stuff for a while and enjoy life. In fact, even today, I find myself just plain tired of having to worry about everything like this. I find myself wanting to just say, screw it, take down my screens, cancel my blog, and just live like the other sheep live. After all, would it be so bad? I know it would improve my marriage, would improve my relations with others in my neighborhood, but that's not me thinking that. It's the nano seeds. In fact, I think those nano seeds are starting to convince people that the things I blog about, even the stuff that other websites acknowledge as true, don't actually exist. My wife blew up on me the other day during an argument, telling me that there's no such thing as newsmax.com. She honestly believes that no such website exists. I offered to fire up my laptop and show her, and then she just yelled, "There you go with that laptop bullshit again." She didn't even want to look. My brother-in-law won't even speak to me anymore. He might actually be a construct now, but if he were, wouldn't he be trying to influence me away from my so-called delusions instead of breaking off contact? No, I don't think they've gotten to him. I think he's just becoming more afraid of what they can do. Caffeine Head. caffeineheadnewviews.org. 4th of the 7th, 2013. I'm becoming troubled in regard to my new employers. I signed on with newviews.org because it was clear that they knew and understood the dangers of the items I mention frequently on my blog. The Orpheus device, impetus sand, nano seeds, even acknowledging that the biggest, most frequent news sites online are all owned and managed by the same group, only reporting the items they approve. Lately though, I'm not so sure that newviews.org hasn't been bought. I was recently warned about my content. My content hasn't changed in 5 years, so I don't know why they'd hire me if they think they can make me say different things from what I believe. I'm not going to back down. It's important for people to know this stuff. There are so few of us who have discovered the truth. So many who would rather just swallow whatever pablum they're given and go along to get along. I thought newviews.org would help me to spread the word. Now I'm starting to wonder if they're not part of the problem. Caffeine Head. caffeinehead.newviews.org. 4/14/2013. This will be my last post on newviews.org. A representative of theirs called me today. He didn't even have to tell me. I could hear it in his voice. He was a construct. I'm done with this company. I'll be registering a new URL soon. I've already reserved it, so my readers, if any of you can actually still see my content, You can find me at iknowtoomuch.com, caffeinehead, caffeinehead.newviews.org, 5/12/2013. Tell me something, people. You can see my posts, right? You have computers, right? You surf the net, right? I ask because today, my wife told me today that she was through with my delusions, that she was taking me to see someone, that she would prove to me once and for all that this silly thing called the internet was not real, and that in fact computers are giant machines that only the government and prestigious universities can use, so the idea of a laptop was absurd. She told me that my laptop is only a briefcase. It's happening. They're unpersoning me. First they got me questioning myself on the bigger stuff, wondering if nanoseeds, impetus sand, or Orpheus devices even exist. And now, making me question even if I have readers, a blog, or so much as a computer. I refuse to allow myself to question it. My wife is the delusional one, not me. She's the one who let more nanoseeds get inside her thanks to that new moisturizer brand. It's not going to work. They are not going to unperson me. Caffeinehead, iknowtoomuch.com, 6/1/2013. Out of nowhere, I got an email from my brother-in-law. He wants to meet with me. He wants to discuss a few things he's learned and make sure I can defend myself. He apologized for disappearing, but explained that he realized he was being followed around on a daily basis by men who were doing their best to look innocuous, but were always there, every time he examined his surroundings. I hope this isn't a trick. I'm gonna meet with him today, but I am truly afraid that this isn't what it seems. If all goes well, I'll blog about it later. If I don't post again, you'll know that they finally got to me. Caffeinehead, iknowtoomuch.com. Thanks for showing us this, Mrs. Lyman. It's so strange, Dr. Winthrop. My husband was a normal man until 5.5 years ago, and then he started talking about strange things like laptops and blogs and this internet or interweb thingy. He'd spend hours at a time just staring at an open briefcase, as though there were people in there talking to him. Not talking to him, Miss Lyman. Reading what he supposedly wrote and replying. We've seen this delusion in others, a sort of mass psychosis which affects only about 1 out of 100 people. But the delusion they share is so real to them that when they discuss it with each other, you could almost believe they're talking about something real. Of course, in most cases, it's harmless. They just think they're getting the latest updates on their favorite singers or actors. They think they're sharing photos or brief statements with each other. But in other cases, such as your husband's, the delusion turns paranoid. But rest assured, your husband will get the treatment he needs. Oh, thank you, Doctor. You have no idea how relieved I am to hear that. Update 6/29/2013. Log Dr. E. D. Winthrop. Subject Walt Lyman. Patient is secure and his synaptic patterns are being loaded into our machines as we speak. We'll have new impetus sand simulacrum created for him by tomorrow. Lyman believed his screens protected him from our Orpheus devices, and that his brother-in-law believed him, when in fact Dan Orton has been our agent from the beginning, as some of you reading this might already know. Orton managed to work around Lyman's efforts to alert Linda, Orton's sister, and Lyman's wife of our existence. Her nanoseeds have convinced her that she has delivered her husband into psychiatric care, and that the internet, even laptops, do not exist. It may be necessary to program all nanoseeds to believe this within the next 5 years, as more and more websites like newviews.org are springing up. I recommend once again cutting off the source of such sites rather than simply taking over each site as we discover them. Linda Lyman is the 1,395,983rd individual we've had to reprogram to believe that the internet does not exist. Eventually one of them will say the wrong thing and alert more people to our presence.